How many times have you heard the phrase views ain't cash? 5, 10, maybe 15 times this year so far. Well, I have something to tell you that you might not be too happy about, but whoever told you that is getting a lot of views on YouTube. Alex Ramosi told you views ain't cash when he's pulling in 28 million views a month from YouTube. Hamza told you views ain't cash when he was getting 6 million views a month on YouTube. Charlie Morgan told you views ain't cash when he was getting $500,000 views a month from YouTube. And ironically, they still optimize their content to get traffic, to get views. These same people that are telling you that views ain't cash still optimize for views. Now, why is that? First of all, you probably don't know who I am. So, what's up? My name is Amias. Since the age of 12 years old, I've made close to 400 YouTube videos, and this is my client search. Now, he seems pretty cranky in this photo. Maybe he didn't have his morning coffee or something, but this is what his channel looked like 35 days ago. So he was spamming a bunch of these mid-funnel Miro board breakdowns because that's what Charlie Morgan told him to do. He told him to go and provide value and just spam these mid-funnel videos on his page, and you'll suddenly get inbound leads from YouTube and close a bunch of deals and build a bunch of trust and all that, which isn't wrong, but at the same time, this is not how you build a YouTube channel. Now, because of this, Serge was only using his channel as something that looked pretty on the front end. So maybe you can relate to this, but maybe your YouTube channel just feels like something you show to prospects before a sales call, hoping to gain a little bit more trust with them and hopefully close them. Well, the truth is, YouTube is a lot more than that, and I want to prove that to you today. So maybe he was adding also $4,000 every 1 or 2 months from YouTube or whatever, signing the odd client from YouTube here and there, not tracking revenue or anything, none of that. You can't really generate traffic on YouTube. You can only nurture traffic, or maybe you can only close deals from YouTube. He's getting less than 100 views from YouTube, hustling to build these Miro board breakdowns, posting twice a week, and you've probably done a lot of Miro board videos yourself. You know how long they take to build and to break them down, oh, this thing was recording and all that, right? And he thought providing value meant sharing more info, because this is what Charlie Morgan told him value was, right? Well, now, fast forward, Serge posted 2 YouTube videos this month and went from making $4,000 every 1 or 2 months or so to making $50,000 from the last 2 YouTube videos we posted. No ads, all 100% organic traffic from the last 2 YouTube videos in the last 35 days. Now, I would be lying if I said this was collected revenue, right? So this is contracted revenue, 51,000, but he did collect 28,000 from this 51,000 so far. And we're only just getting started. Now his calendar looks like this. All he's doing is taking sales calls nowadays to the point where it's actually getting kind of annoying. I mean, it's fun closing deals for him, but him and I had a conversation about hiring him a closer just simply because of the amount of inbound appointments he's getting, and it's actually getting nuts. But now he adds $20,000 to his business every time he uploads a YouTube video. He only posts about 12 times a month, so he has more room to take sales calls and do all the marketing side of things and stuff like that. And the market is literally all using the same openers from his last video. It's funny because you've probably seen a video where, in the SMA niche, it has a lot of views and a lot of traffic, and it has this one specific opener, and everybody is flooding your inbox with these openers. And it's like, you guys don't understand how much traffic this video has. None of your openers are gonna work, right? So you've probably related to that before. And so he's kind of created this mini celebrity effect in his niche. His network of people and he's in Nick's settings group. People from Nick's settings group are reaching out to him. Oh, bro, I watched that video. It's going really big. I'm seeing a lot of views and stuff, and they're connecting that way. He's going to a villa with a bunch of SMA guys in Greece, partly because of this YouTube video and stuff. These past 2 videos he made. Now he's well known in a niche. Now he's scaled from 0 or 120 subscribers when I first started working with him. Now he's at 2,000 subscribers, and when people click on his channel, they're like, wow, this guy must know what he's talking about. He's got a lot of traffic on his YouTube channel. Now, I want to show you the back-end process of how we went and ideated, scripted, everything to do with this video, how we produced this video on the back end to actually go out and make it perform how it did and generate this amount of traffic, and how we sort of implemented unique selling points and actually sold with this video, not just generating a bunch of traffic, as you can see with the revenue numbers we did from these. So the first step I did is just market research. It's not very sexy, but this is the #1 thing when you're going into a new market. It's just like business. You have to identify what's working, what's not, where the supply, where's the demand, where's the market at right now, what's going on. You have to take a look at everything from a bird's eye view to understand what to go in and implement. So Serge was mostly already making content around the SMA, so social media marketing agency. I figured this was a good niche to place, a good place to start, since he had already been making content around that. But when I searched up SMA and I took a look for hours upon hours, I think it was for like 2 or 3 days I went and did research on his market, it was disgusting what I saw. So we filter by 4 to 20 minutes this month, so we get rid of the short form content. And maybe you see it, maybe you don't. What I'm looking at right now is disgusting. The most regurgitated, overused YouTube advice to get more traffic is to just do what works. But this ends up having the opposite effect on 99% of business owners because they simply just do this wrong. They simply just steal videos and expect it to work for them. And I'm not sure when, whoever's making these videos, like all these guys, I'm not sure when they're gonna wake up because clearly it's not working. Okay, 440 views, 1K views, not bad, right? 48 views, 599. I can't count the amount of times I've seen this thumbnail. 25 views. 593, not bad. Okay, no views, 377. And maybe you're noticing this pattern, maybe you're not. So this is the SMA market, okay? So this is the total addressable market of the SMA niche on YouTube. Now, there's 2 style of videos I'm sort of seeing in the SMA market and nothing else. The first style of video is the raw style of video, right? So Sander Sage introduced this raw style of video, it worked for him, and now everybody's copying him. And then we have obviously the He-Man talking head style videos. And these include, so these ones are more like the raw Myra board information, Charlie Morgan type videos. And then these are the more like He-Man talking head, like fire explosion here, cool animation here with the stick figure and stuff, a bunch of crazy stuff, right? And so the whole market has no choice but to go and flip-flop between these 2 videos because this is all the supply is in the SMA market right now. But the problem is, these style of videos are split into pies. Everybody is taking their small piece of the pie in these 2 video styles in the market because everybody is easily commoditized with these videos. There's no one SMA guru out there anymore who can just give them all the information and that's that. There's this guy showing you how, the acquisition funnel that's going to get you qualified traffic this month. And then there's this guy teaching you how to onboard SMA clients with Go High level. And everybody is teaching basically the same thing with the same video style, not bringing any more value to the table, kind of just regurgitating the same video styles as everybody else, or just like E-Man style or raw type of content. And same with this. So this is all split into little pies and everybody's taking their small little piece of the pie. Yay. Pretty cute, right? Well, how do you break out of this? Because right now, like I said before, like the market is just going between these 2. And really, if you're copying these 2 style of videos, the only choice you have, the only way you have to stand out is 0. You have none. If you want to come in and make SMA type content and you're going to go into one of these 2 video styles, you're just going to end up taking one of these small pieces of the pie. And the more people in the market, the more business owners that are in the market making these type of videos, the smaller the slice of the pie is going to be. And that's just the reality. And the only way you can break out of this is by making what's called unique value positioning videos. And I'll break this down. So unique value positioning videos is just positioning your content to provide more value than the rest of the market through stealing success factors like an artist and brainstorming ways to provide more value. That decommoditizes your content through an incomparable, unique angle. And TLDR, if that sort of didn't make sense for you, providing more value while being unique. So let me show you what I mean by this. A great example of this was Daniel Dalen, okay? So he came into, the business market in general. So pretend this is the business market, okay? He came in and created this brand new video style, and not just video style as in like, the shots he was taking, not just that. Video style has to do with the packaging, the actual backstory, so the personality of the person, the video style in general, so like how he's actually filming it, the editing style, is he adding this like yellow text? Well, I've never seen that before, that's kind of cool. And every variable that goes into a YouTube video, he's simply just finding what demand does the market have. So if we look at this supply and demand. So we have supply, demand. So we have demand on the y-axis and supply on the x-axis. Now, how a video style starts is in demand, obviously. If someone finds a video style that is in demand, they are highly in demand since there is low supply of this and the market is just fiending for whatever style content they're making, okay? But what happens when people regurgitate this content and try and replicate what this person has done is the supply slowly increases while the demand slowly decreases. And that's because this person who created this video style is already gonna have enough supply for when like the second person that comes in, he's already gonna have competition. The first person that came in here, there was high demand because there was no competition. But since this second person that came in and he's trying to replicate this, and then like a third guy comes in and it goes down again, and you know, halves again, and the SMA niche right now is to the point where everybody's trying to regurgitate the same content. Everybody's creating the same style of content over and over and over again, and the whole niche is commoditized. You could flip from this person, watching this person on how to onboard on Go High Level, and then this person on how to dial leads, and then this person on how to do this person how to get clients, blah, blah, blah. You can watch different people in the SMA niche and learn all about SMA. Whereas if you took this unique angle and maybe offered like a different, you know, under the umbrella term SMA, maybe you offered like a different type of marketing agency that nobody have ever thought of, and there's low supply for it. Well, that's a video style that you could come in with, this unique business model. I've seen people do this where they come in with this unique business model and they get attention from that through running bait and switch for like normal SMA, like the umbrella term SMA. They run bait and switch, bring people to their niche, and since the supply for it is low and they've built that demand for it, they're at the top of this and nobody can compete with them because they formed this own niche, okay? What Daniel Dalen actually did was there was proof of demand for SMA, right? So obviously Dalen pretend like we're talking about like the actual business market and pretend like this isn't raw style content, this isn't E-min style content, pretend these are two formats that are oversaturated in the market, right? So what Daniel Dalen did, he came in with this unique video style, not only unique style in like visuals, but also the editing process, the packaging process with the POVs, right? His backstory, so his personality, his, you know, him being from China and running e-commerce from China. Well, how many people have that story? Not very much. Exactly. So he's coming in with this unique value positioning and he's forming his own niche that can't be commoditized because he's only him, and he simply just found gaps in the market where, you know, someone isn't providing this value that the market is in demand for. I'm gonna go make my own niche, decommoditize myself from these pieces of pie here so that I can take the whole pie for myself and nobody else can replicate me because nobody shares my story. Nobody can do the video styles I'm doing. Well, maybe they can do the video styles, but they're never gonna be able to do it to an extent I have. Plus, when I come in, I'm already gonna have all this content already out on YouTube and all the supply. So when these people come in, they're never gonna reach my success because I've already got so much supply out there. So what he did, he simply just pulled the attention from these other niches. So let me make that actually a little bit bigger. He just pulled the attention from these other styles of videos and simply just fed it to his style. And the only difference is he didn't have to share the pie with anybody. This was his pie by himself. He ordered like a whole goddamn pie by himself and he gets to eat it. Nobody else can have a part of it. Anybody else who tries is simply just not gonna get a very big piece. So now he's doing the same thing. He's made his own style of content, but this is all Daniel, and he takes all the attention. So now you understand how the SMA market is right now. You probably have a very good understanding of how, you know, to actually break out of that and to go and get traffic. And you're probably going to understand what I'm talking about here next. Now, in conclusion, to wrap this up, you need unique value positioning to take over your total addressable market. Knowing this, we simply just need to confirm exactly what the market has been in demand for. So when I kept doing research, kept doing days of research, hours and hours and hours, I found that lead generation specifically had a lot of buzz around that keyword. And I know this because if we search lead generation and we filter by view count, well, lead generation, that's a mid-funnel video. You're going out and you're building trust that your stuff works. It's not a top funnel Charlie Morgan video. It's like, oh, I make a lot of money, because everybody in the world makes money, and that's a very top funnel video. Lead generation, that's still a very specific topic, yet there's so much demand for it. And so when I realized this, like, yeah, this buzz around lead generation, it's here. All we had to do was do exactly what I just said, break apart from the commoditization and the SMA niche, and we'd be chilling because we know there's demand for this. All we have to do is bring our own unique perspective, add more value than everybody else, and our total addressable market is ours. And that's exactly what we did. So we know that now we're gonna make a video on lead generation, because not only do we confirm from just searching on YouTube that this is a hot topic, we're also using tools like vidIQ to verify this. And just to compare it to the whole SMA niche in general, well, SMA has 400,000 monthly searches, but if we search up lead generation, well, this is a very good portion of the SMA niche. And so we know this is a very, very, very big topic that we can go and get a lot of traffic on, since this has always been in demand. Plus, if you search on things like Google Trends, probably not going to do this right now just because it does take a little bit to filter, but if you just went on Google Trends, search up lead generation, worldwide, past 12 months or past 5 years, and then YouTube, you can see that this word has gained a lot of buzz over the years, and it's still in very good demand to this day. You can also use YouTube's built-in research tool. There's so many tools out there you can go to verify that this is a hot topic that you should go and make a video on that has demand. Now it's just a game of positioning ourselves in the market to actually go and take over his TAM and not just like become one of these other commoditizations. So when I was auditing for this video, I not only took a look at the SMA market, but I also went and took a look at adjacent markets like the cold email market and the dropshipping market and e-commerce in general, and the AI automation market. And specifically when I was taking a look at the AI automation market, I found there was a ton of buzz. Okay, let's actually draw a proper circle here. Cool, all right, we just did it, bro. All right, so when I took a look specifically at the AI business, I was shocked, and I knew we needed to use this and leverage this from in the video we were gonna make and run a bait and switch. If you don't know what a bait and switch is, basically it's when you take other markets' attention, which is usually like an adjacent niche, and you bring it toward your niche so that you can sell to people in their niche. It's pretty cool. So it's basically just like stealing attention from other niches by baiting them and saying, hey, like this is something this niche should be interested in, and then bringing them in, giving them value for that, but then reverting them back to the thing you're actually selling, which is like SMA services, right? And we didn't want to just run this bait and switch and just gather a bunch of like glue eaters from the AI business that just wanted to run automations. We also needed people who wanted lead generation systems automated. And that's when we came up with the idea. We're simply just gonna build an N8N automation that scrapes leads specifically for Instagram, because his offer, like I'm not gonna show you his ICP just because it is confidential, but basically he sells to people how to get clients from Instagram. And so I knew if we built an automation on how to scrape leads specifically from Instagram, the only way to complete whatever cycle they're running, whatever funnel they're running, they need to scrape the leads from Instagram, but then they also need to sell to the leads on Instagram, and that's exactly what he sells. So I knew that could be a unique selling point that we could create in the video. So they can go generate all the leads they want, but if they didn't know how to sell to those leads, well, they were toast. So I knew we're going to pull this attention from the AI business niche to the SMA market and then sell through, okay, you're going to need to sell through Instagram and set up accounts and optimize your outreach messages and all of this, not just generate these leads from Instagram. So that's exactly what I did. And we pulled attention from the AI business into the SMA market. Now, I don't want to go too deep on that just because I don't want this video to be too long, but that's exactly what we did. And when I went and specifically took a look at the AI business, I found this one software that had a lot of buzz around it. And if we do some research on it, it's called N8N. Not sure if you've heard of it before. So N8N, we go to this month. We see that videos created this month are all multipliers on every channel. So I went and did a dive of each person that made a video on this topic and their channels. So boom, this video, for example, it still has N8N tutorial in the title in 2025. If you don't know, you don't do that, okay? It's not gonna work. But despite that, this video was still a 7.7x multiplier on his channel, meaning it performed 7 times better than the rest of his videos. Why? Simply because he leveraged N8N. He broke down an automated software and showed people how to run N8N on YouTube, and because this software, this magical software that not a lot of people were talking about and didn't have a lot of supply, had a lot of demand, and that was the proof from it. Not only this, but we used the tools we talked about before, so like Google Trends to verify this, and then we went and used vidIQ to verify this, since we don't take vidIQ's data as gospel. And we also used YouTube's built-in YouTube research tool to go and verify all of this. And we just spent time on YouTube as well, so we knew that this was a topic in demand. So we knew, lead generation, that's what the video is going to be on. We knew that we were going to use the AI market and arbitrage and bait and switch the AI niche and market on YouTube to the SMA niche, and the tool we're going to use that, the mechanism we're going to use that is N8N, the software, to pull people in, because we knew this was in demand. So now that we have that, it came down to step 2. So we know we're going to generate leads, we know we're going to do N8N, and the title is going to be something like how to generate leads from N8N, on N8N with AI agents, basically. Just, adding this mysterious element, as you can see in the package here, we're adding this mysterious element of oh, what is this, AI robot thing that's going to generate leads for me, right? AI agent, ooh, that's a sexy word, right? And, we'll go more into the package here, but I don't want to spend too long on this just because I don't want this video to be too long. But we're going to break this down, how I came up with the exact package of this video. So, step 2, packaging. We now just need to arbitrage a winning thumbnail format from an adjacent niche that's been proven to work. So an adjacent niche I knew that was close to the N8N automation niche was the video editing niche. They're both softwares, they're both, dark backgrounds, right? They're both require both skills to run and set up and do everything like that. So I knew that was a good niche to arbitrage from. So what I did, I went and took at the video editing niche now and found out what was working with them, did a whole, market research on them, spent hours doing that. And then I found certain winning thumbnail formats that had worked in the past, and I knew we could arbitrage and come bring a unique angle to our niche, thumbnail they've never seen before, and we have proof that it works now because we've seen this video, which I'll show you here. So how to get your viewers so addicted. Now if we go into this guy's channel, we see this was clearly an outlier, okay, 15.2x, because the first video he did crushed it, 170 views, 217 views, to 473 views, but this video killed it because this one has almost 4 million views, and the rest of them are stuck in the hundreds of thousands. And so I knew people like whatever worked with this thumbnail, people like that, okay? We don't necessarily need to know why. We don't necessarily need to reverse engineer the exact design of the thumbnail and why this works, why that color works. All we know is that this thumbnail format works, and we just sort of need to arbitrage it and sort of make it fit into what we were doing now, because again, now we have proof that this works. So all I did was that, boom, we have a winning title format, we have a winning thumbnail format. Now we need to go in and just find out how we're gonna, come in with unique value, actually provide more value than the rest of the videos around this topic, so that we can go and take the attention from everybody else. And since we knew a big traffic source for this video was gonna be search, we simply just had to find a way to add more value and bring a unique angle. So what I just said. And when I went and looked at this topic, so lead generation, N8N. Now obviously we're number 1 for the search term right now, but before making this video, you see this video was posted 2 months ago. It's at around the same views, and so he got good traffic on this video. And I know this wasn't a guy with a bunch of subscribers already, because his average views on his channel was 1,000 views, and if we sort by most popular, this is actually his most popular video. So I knew that this is a good video to take a look at and find and rob success factors from. So we start off what I did was I started off by robbing the success factors from this video. Now, what does this actually mean? Now, we've all seen this chart. This is Alex Hormozi's value chart, basically just logically explaining what value is. And I simply just reverse engineered the video's package to tie them back to this value chart and find out where value was provided, so we can take that, use it, and add more value ourselves through existing value and opportunities. So I'll show you what I mean. Automated lead gen. Well, that's the dream outcome. Doesn't really get more simple than that. They simply just need an automated system that's going to go and generate leads for them, so they can save time and effort in going and generating leads manually. That's the dream outcome. Okay, so that doesn't change. But if we take a look at the package, well, how do we have proof that this actually works? We go and take a look at the package. My $50,000 end-to-end lead generation automation system. So we already know he's showing them, my system that I use to generate $50,000 instead of just saying, hey, you guys can go and use this, whatever, and you guys can go ahead and do whatever you want with this. He's saying, I use this, and this is proof that it works because I use it to make me $50,000. Boom. So that was a success factor that worked, and we could tie this down to perceived likelihood of achievement. This made the viewer certain that this was going to work for him because it had specifically worked with him, the guy that made the video. Also, if you notice in the title, it also says steal this. This is implying that it's not a strategy where you need to go in and build this whole automation by yourself and do a bunch of software and coding and stuff like that. You can literally just steal it for free. Steal this. Usually when someone puts steal this in their title, it means you're getting it for free. So that's also a big value proposition that he had in his thumbnail or in his packaging that definitely had a big factor that really played into time delay and effort and sacrifice, since number one, they didn't have to go and find out how to code themselves, and number two, they didn't have to spend much time doing it. Next, we notice that if we go on the video and we take a look at the rest of the videos here, this one's 45 minutes, okay, this one's 21 minutes, this one's by hand, so we won't look at that, 16 minutes, okay. A lot of the videos, a lot of the other videos that are breaking down this end-to-end automation system are simply just longer, and he knew that if he came in with an 18-minute video explaining how to do it instead of like a 40-minute video knowing how to explaining how to do it, well, he was going to get more of that attention because people ultimately want better things quicker. And he knew he could use that as a value proposition in his packaging to win the click over everybody else. And so that's just hinting at time delay, so it's going to take less time for them to watch the video and implement the system, and effort and sacrifice. They don't have to spend more time listening to them talk about boring automations, stuff like that. So now that we have all the existing opportunities that this person used to go and provide value, we now just need to steal exactly what he did to go and provide value and show value in the title or in the packaging, and we just need to do it better than him so that we can not only rank just as good as him, maybe 2 or 3, but we can rank number 1 and we can be the number 1 search for this topic. Now, what I did is I just simply went back to each of the value points and each variable in the equation, and I said, hey, how can we provide more value for this? Number 1, the first thing I found that we can just come in and provide more value was just using more specific numbers. In the packaging, he uses $50,000. Well, that's not very specific. And I know through arbitraging from other niches that, obviously you know this too, using specific numbers in your thumbnail and your title, those usually tend to perform better and act more as a perceived likelihood of achievement because it's more specific and it's more believable. So I knew if we came in and put $48,000 in the thumbnail and same like this split testing title here, $49,125, we put a more specific number, it's going to be more believable, and the more we can make them believe this worked for us, the more they can believe this will work for them and we'll win the click over them. Not only this, but we made this beginner friendly because I noticed a lot of the automations here, they look very confusing, and all the automations here, it looks like you need to already be established with an end to go and do this automation. So I knew if I came in and said, listen, you don't need any experience with this, all you really need to do is steal the template and fix a few things, personalize it to you, and you're good to go. So I added no experience in the package so that they knew they could run this even if they've never seen the software in their life. And this is just hinting at perceived likelihood of achievement again, calling out our ICP. And one crucial thing I did, which I believe is one of the biggest factors of why this video performed successful, is I didn't go and make an 18-minute video. I didn't go and make a 40-minute video. For search, we simply just went in and made a quick step-by-step, very clear, no bullshit 5-minute guide on how to set this up for yourself. Nothing else, no big pitches, no big introduction of who they are. Simply just step-by-step, step 1, go do this, step 2, go do this, and we'll talk about more about this this in the video style that we chose. But we knew if we came in and made a 5-minute video instead of an 8-minute video, we were gonna win the click over them, because think yourself, you're searching this topic, you want to go click on a video, which one are you going to click on? Are you going to click on the 18-minute one that seems confusing and you've never ran the software before and you're not sure if you really had to use it before to implement this? Or are you going to click on the one that's showing that you don't need to have any experience? It's specifically added $47,000 in monthly recurring revenue to my business, and you only have to watch it 5 minutes, so you're not sacrificing that much time or effort. Obviously, you're going to click the first one because we're simply just providing more value by less time delay and less effort and sacrifice. Very simple. Now, the third step was simply just video style demand, and I don't want to go into this too too much depth again, simply because we're trying to keep this video as short as possible. And keep in mind, this took me hours and hours and hours of ideation on the back end to go and make these videos. So now it just came down to delivery and how we were going to present this value that stands out from all the other copy and paste formats on YouTube. So exactly what I was talking about before. Now, we know how we're going to provide more value. Now we just need to separate ourselves from all these pies, because we don't want to share a piece of pie. We want the whole pie, right? We want the whole damn thing. So throughout each variable in the video, I specifically went in and asked myself, how are we going to position ourselves uniquely in this sector, whether it was media, video editing, scripting, the video outline, so that it provides value, because we don't want to just be unique for the sake of being unique and just I don't know, just be stupid with it. We want to be unique, but be unique in things that people still want and demand for. So things that are still in demand, if that makes sense. So we did this with media, video editing, script, and the video outline, his personality and his mood, audio design, everything you could ever think that goes into a YouTube video, we did this with. It'd take hours to explain the angling process for all of these, like I said, but I believe our editing / visual style definitely helped this video crush. So since I've spent hours a day for the past 8 years on the platform, I knew what was working in what markets during specific times, and thought back to Ryan Trahan's approach to the entertainment space, right? So if you didn't know, back 5-6 years ago, everybody in the entertainment space, they started using these fancy cameras with these fancy Rode mics, and started implementing a little bit of fancy video editing as well. And Ryan Trahan came into the niche, and he created this new unique approach where it was like, okay, instead of showing off all this fancy stuff, I'm simply just going to be as simple as possible for someone that had one brain cell to understand what was going on in the video. Simply just shooting with an iPhone, maybe a little lavalier mic, and simply just adding simple to his brand. That was the name of his game. Simple. We go into his channel. If you've never seen Ryan Trahan before, didn't mean to do that. We go into one of his videos, and you'll be able to tell in the first 5 seconds his videos are very, not it's necessarily raw, but very simple to understand. You see he's got aerial text in a thumbnail. How many times have we seen this 5-6 years ago in a title, right? So click on the video. As you can see, this is very, very purposely not centered properly. Same with this, yeah, the raw text there. And so you sort of see what's going on here and have a visual for what the rest of the video is gonna look like. So we knew this worked in his niche, and we knew our niche was trying to do this thing again of not becoming raw, because people had already tried the raw style content, and obviously it's worked for the first person that did it, which was Center Stage, and nobody else, because he was at the top of this demand. And Iman Gadzi, which was the exact opposite, which was the very fancy animation, very high production videos that worked for Iman. But of course, it's the same thing with that. And so what we did, we're simply just taking the stuff that worked for the raw type of content, so the iPhone videos, maybe just a little lavalier mic and no super fancy production and just simple editing as well. And we're taking things from the E-Man space that work for him. So not raw to the point where it's just me sitting here and then there's no nothing. We're cutting clips, we're adding tons of media files, and I'm pretty sure that one specifically, it was cutting, we edited the video in a certain way where it was cutting from either the laptop or his face or anything like that at a pace of 4 or 5 seconds to keep retention up and everything like that. And we specifically did that, differentiating ourselves from the raw video styles on purpose, because we knew this was going to be the unique value positioning we were going to bring into the video.
And this is exactly what Ryan Trahan did in his niche too, and that's all we were doing for that. So like I said, I could do this with every single variable in the video, but those are basics, right? And doing all these things, this is why I was able to scale, my channel, my personal channel, to 27,000 subscribers, right? This is why I have 4 million views organically, because I've been doing this for 6 years. I've done this over and over and over again, this whole process which I just showed you, over and over and over again. None of these are short views, by the way. And this is the reason why all my channels crush it, right? So you can see, obviously this video back in the day in the entertainment space, 60,000 views, few million views, a bunch of views here, a couple 100,000 views, right? And you can probably see a pattern reoccurring. So I don't want to brag anymore, okay? For example, this is Elijah's channel, okay? He was in the self-improvement niche, teaching Christian entrepreneurs how to self-improve, I guess, with a coaching program. We came in, he was simply making these videos like this, getting less than 400 views, wasn't really bringing in any traffic to his YouTube videos. We came in and we generated him 7K views with the first video we made, simply just doing exactly what I just showed you. And same with the next video, and the next video, and the next video after that. And all these videos we're making for him, they're just popping up because we keep replicating the same system of actually going and doing our proper research, doing our homework, and finding out what is in demand in the market. And so we just coming in with a unique value positioning. So, and then basically all we would do was, make these top funnel videos, which, got traffic. And not only this, but we're funneling them down the whole funnel. So we're also creating content like this that isn't meant to go out and get a bunch of traffic, just like this video here, but is meant to sell the viewers. And we're implementing tons of sales psychology instead of retention tactics and stuff like that. Same with Kirk. So Kirk, just 2 months ago, she was making these videos, getting 28 views a video. She had no idea what she was doing, right? She was kind of just doing the same thing, firing this YouTube content out on the internet, hoping for, one of these to pick up in the algorithm. But necessarily, the YouTube algorithm is very smart and knows what videos to promote and not to promote. So we came in with the first video, got our 1.4K views. Now she's selling deals on this because not only is it just like a 1.4K top funnel video, it's also a viral VSL, and she's implementing a lot of selling and positioning in this video to incentivize and pretty much make it hard for anyone not to buy if they were actually interested in implementing the system she break down in this video. Same with this video. And this is, I did the same thing for myself over and over and over again. This is a skit channel I had back in the day. The other video we also just made for is also crushing, right? So this video we posted a couple weeks ago, well, it's picking up a lot of traffic from search results because we went and did the same thing. We went and provided more value than everybody else in the search term. We came in with a unique values positioning, and now we're reaping the rewards from it. She's pulling in inbound leads from this every day. She keeps messaging me. She messaged me almost every second day and said, oh, just had this call with this inbound lead from YouTube, straight from YouTube. He said he watched the 8 Provide video and he trusted me specifically because of that, and then went and binge watched all my other videos, stuff like that. Same with this personal video I made, this personal video I made, right? And that's Ryan Trahan, so I didn't make that one. But did the same thing with my automation channel. So, came in with unique value positioning in this market, 30,000 views with the first video, 16,000 views with the first video from a 0 subscriber YouTube channel. And so you can see, we just do this over and over again. We go and get traffic, and then we turn that traffic into sales based on, what your offer is and everything like that. So, if you're a high-ticket coach doing YouTube, book a call with me so we can obviously add 50K a month to your coaching business in the next 35 days, just like, what Serge just did. You've pretty much seen the whole thing, so I don't really need to pitch you too hard on that. And yeah, thanks for watching.